My name is Daniel Reznik, and this is the Getting Out of the Way podcast, where we will be integrating the psychedelic experience.
So I realized, man, we want to give the best to our kids, so we do. To the degree that I'm able, I pass my things that I consider about myself to be guiding lights, real kind of fundamental aspects of my highest self, my truest nature. I pass all of that down to my kids to the degree I'm able, in a thoughtful manner, without overdoing it, without curtailing their free will. But at the same time, I'm passing down all of my worst. And somebody asked me, why would you do that? And I say, well, I'm not a sadist. I'm not trying to hold them back. I'm not trying to give them my worst on purpose. I'm giving them my worst because I'm unconscious of it. I'm unaware of it. So as I'm giving them my best, at the same time, I'm giving them my worst because I'm unconscious of it. I'm unable to preclude them from it because I'm unaware of it. That's the definition of it. I'm unconscious of it. I'm not aware of it. So the second greatest gift I could give my kids is to become conscious, to become aware, to eliminate my own unconsciousness. And how this mechanism works of, they say you want to change the world, go first, change yourself. It happens from the inside out. So if I want to give my kids the best, it simply means not giving them my worst. They'll figure the rest out through their free will, through their sync with the way things are. So to keep from giving them my unconsciousness, I have to bring it to my consciousness. I have to become aware of everything that I am unconscious of. That's the second greatest gift we can give our kids. Eliminate our own consciousness as parents. And this doesn't only apply to our kids, this applies to everyone in life. It applies to everyone within our sphere of influence. And thank God for the internet, that sphere of influence is getting greater and bigger and bigger. Technology, I should say, all of it spreads it. But if we're still carrying around unconsciousness, that's what we're spreading. And it's going farther and wider than ever before, and it's having impact and influence on everyone else. And it's curtailing their free will and their ability to become conscious. So we start breeding unconsciousness out there. So the greatest job we could do for ourselves and everyone else that we're around is, man, give that shit up. Start searching inside for everything that's lurking in the shadow. Because again, we can't sell what we don't have in stock. And if I have unconsciousness in stock, that's what I'm going to sell, whether I want to or not. I don't have a choice. So as a parent, it became evident and clear to me that if I want to give them the best head start possible, I just have to get out of the way. Nature's going to do its thing. And to the degree that happens is to the degree I could let go. It's to the degree that I could do my own work on me and selfishly go inward, put all of that secondary, and just bring the light of my awareness to the shadow, which is my unconsciousness. Because the shadow cannot live in the light. Go into a dark closet, spark a lighter. You'll see everything. It's very simple. And that's what our awareness is. Our awareness is a great light. We're just pointing it the wrong way. We're pointing it out there all the time, trying to find something out there. Trying to how to fill this void out there. And media and marketing will do a great job of selling you whatever you want to fill it. Because they know. They know what we're searching for, and they know where to find it. But it won't create any transactions, so they have to instantly say, well, buy this car, it'll make you feel better. Look, this person in this ad is very happy. Look, this influencer's smiling. They're wearing this clothes. It'll make you happy. It'll make you smile too. And it does for a minute, and then it doesn't. And then with the ups, you get the downs. And we keep chasing our own tail. We keep trying to get high. Getting high is not a problem. Coming down is the problem. And we keep repeating, because we're pointing our light of awareness out there. Now, what happens when you point it in here? What happens when you point it in here is that you start illuminating this space. And the more you do that work, the more you bring that awareness in, the more you eliminate the shadows, because they just can't take it. And in this process of reclaiming our territory, our personal space, of bringing this awareness, this beautiful light back inside, we slowly start to shine it in all those deep crevices and recesses of the body and mind that have been hiding in the shadows. and we illuminate this place, and we start to feel better, and we start to recognize there was no void at all. The void only existed because I was pointing the light the wrong way. The void was just a shadow. But where is it now? And we start to diminish and extinguish that unconsciousness. And if we do that, we don't pass it down to our kids. We don't pass it to our society. We don't pass it to our loved ones. There's nothing to pass because I'm aware of it all now. Because I see it all now. And that's all I can give to you now. Because we could only sell what we have in stock. And the only thing that changed was perspective. It was here all along. I realized that I was standing on it the whole time, and I was chasing my tail out there like somebody gave me a treasure map, and it took me all over the world, and I've been all over the world, and I've done these retreats, and I've had these conversations, and I've done funky things to try to get high and try to wake up, and it all returned me right back here where I was standing the whole time. And I was standing on the big X the whole time. The treasure map pointed me back inside. And I slapped myself in the head. I'm like, yo, I was such a knucklehead all my life, running around looking for something when I had it with me the whole time. I was just looking in the wrong place. It was that subtle shift of perspective that hit me like a lightning bolt. And then there was nowhere to go. Because no matter where I go, I'm here. It's in you. How come no one told us this? Everybody's trying to sell us a car, that's why. Everybody's trying to sell us some model of what it's going to be, what's going to do it, what's going to satisfy that insatiable appetite. It's like this concept of the hungry ghost. It's got a big belly and a tiny throat. Can't fill the belly. So yeah, what are we talking about? We're talking about a shift of perspective. We're talking about reclaiming our free will. We're talking about giving up the mental narrative of thinking that it should be some other way, that my salvation is out there sometimes or all the time. It's on the horizon. You can never reach it. We're talking about syncing up with the way things are, not the way that I am. Because who's this I at the end of the day? Who's the I keep referring to? It's this conditioned narrative that was imposed upon me by all these people and things that were flexing their unconsciousness. Give it all up. What are you worried about? What are you afraid of? That you're going to find yourself? Or that you're that big? Because that might be scarier for most of us. We're not afraid of change. We're afraid of what change implies and what's coming. Because if I recognize that I am all that and I have been the whole time, look at what a mess I made for all these years. And with that information, that's powerful, but that's heavy. Because that means I got to do something about it now. That means I got to actually change. That means I have to give up some of this nonsense that I was carrying around for all these years, selling to all these people. Because if I'm that powerful, I could have changed this whole game so many times, so many years ago, for so many people, and I haven't done it. That's heavy. We're scared of stepping into our own power to realize that we're the superhero in the story. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to remind one another of who we really are and what our true nature really is. Should we just change our perspective a little bit and stop chasing it out there? Because there's always somebody willing to sell you some unconsciousness out there. We'll realize that we have been our greatest limitation. We have stood in the way the whole time, and it's okay. And it's totally okay, because only when I accept that can I actually embrace change. Because if I resist that and I fight, I can't usher in change. I'm still busy clinging on to the way it was, to the way I was, to this concept of knowing who I even am, by all these self-imposed limitations and thoughts that told us we're not that, by playing the victim card over and over and over in our own mind, to our own detriment, to the detriment of our family, of our society, of our culture, of the world. And if I could accept what a mess I made of things, and I could recognize that that's okay, and that got me to this point, and in this point I am now aware, which means I am now liberated, which means now I can usher in a new day, a new story, a new narrative, a new way of being. Of course I'll own all of that. That's the greatest way to wipe the slate clean, to have a new beginning. That's what the rebirth is all about, this metaphorical rebirth that people are talking about. All it means is, dude, own your own shit. Like, own the whole backstory. Own the origin story. Because the deeper the trough, the higher the crest. It's how it works, right? We see this balance in nature. So if I could own this story, I could take it anywhere it wants to go now. That's empowering. That's recognizing no matter who I was yesterday and the day before, I get to be brand new right now. That's liberation. I can't think of a higher gift. I can't think of a greater superpower to possess. So I want to own it all. And I want people to be comfortable with that. And I want to talk to people who have the toughest stories. It's a beautiful thing. Why? Because in helping them own that backstory, they get to be reborn and I get to witness the miraculous. Like, how many people could say that? How many people could say that they see one person coming in with this really tough luck story, and through a certain process, by whatever means necessary, and we have many tools at our disposal, that person, even in a day, even in 5 hours sometimes, walks out brand new? That's a funky way to live a life, man. I get to witness rebirths, to bring their light without the unconsciousness, without the baggage, without the expected outcomes. It starts from the inside out. Why does that line hold weight over so many generations? You want to change the world? Change yourself. How is it that we keep retelling this? Beautiful reminder. Like, it's that powerful. That's why it sticks around so long, because it's the ultimate truth wrapped up into a sentence, but nobody could believe that the whole truth of it all is in one sentence. It's impossible. It has to be something else. That's it. That's the one thread. It'll undo the whole thing. It'll unravel the whole garment. Everybody's busy changing the world. But in whose image are you changing the world? You're changing the world in your own image, to the degree you're still a self, a still separate self that holds unconsciousness, and you want to change the world. And that's the form you're changing the world into, because you don't know any different. You don't know any better. And that's making more of a mess. So God bless you and your good intentions, but ultimately, if you don't work yourself out of the equation, you're just going to create more of you. So get out of the way. Bring that light inside. Empty yourself out, yourself. This externalized, objectified concept of who you are, get that shit out of the way, because it is breaking things and it is making a mess out there, and it's time to stop this shit. Like, we're at a point in time, seriously, where there's not a moment to waste. It's time to just shift that perspective from out to in.
Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your friends and family. Subscribe, rate, and share so that we could do our part in spreading the light and diminishing the darkness.